Welcome everyone to my newest Let's Play, the Final Fantasy Legend 2. Like the first Final Fantasy Legend, this is actually a saga game, but it was named Final Fantasy to take advantage of the star power of the Final Fantasy name over in the West. So, here's our story, Magi, the symbol of great power, the legacy of the ancient gods who made this world. Many fought for the mighty power, some won and some failed. Now, another legend of bravery is about to begin. And our hero for this game is going to be Linus. He is another rat, and he lived in a house with a whole bunch of dogs, and he wasn't scared of any of them, so it's fitting that he's going to be our hero. So, we have 4 classes to choose from. Humans, mutants, robots, and monsters. Robots are the new addition to this game, so I'll go over them in detail as we play the game. Linus, Dad, what is it? I have to leave now. Will you keep? Hey, Linus, wake up! I'm sleepy. Listen, do not lose this. Got it? Receive the prism. Dad, are you leaving again? Yep. Take care of Mom. Okay, come home early. Yeah, be good, Linus. And we will see that Father does not come home early. Why does he always go out through windows? What is this? Because in this scene coming up, it's several years later. Linus has grown up. Mom, what? Tell me, Linus. I want to go look for Dad. Oh, I knew you would say so someday. You're adventurous, like your father. But I'm worried about you, Mom. You'll be alone. Don't worry about me, Linus. I'll be okay. Go ahead. Yeah. Tell Daddy that I'm doing all right. I will. Take care. Mom, go to school and tell Mr. S that you're leaving. Okay. Mom, I'll be back with Dad. And now we're here at our school, and here's Mr. S, our teacher. So you're leaving, then I have to tell you this. The ancient gods made this world. Yes, I know. Their legacy is left all over this world in the form of magi. What you have received from your father is one piece of it. 77 of those magi make a statue of a goddess, Isis. This? Each magi has its own power. Some are using the power of magi and trying to become new gods. Why did my father have such a thing? Preventing magi from being abused for wrong purposes. Like a hero? Well, yes, kind of. If you wish to find your father, search for magi. I will. Your magi is called the prism. It tells you the number of magi in the same area. It will help you. Thank you very much, sir. I will study more about magi also. And here come some classmates. And we're gonna take one of each class, so. What should I do, sir? It's good to have reliable partners. Take 3 with you. Alright. Our first partner is going to be a mutant male named Vincent. Mutants cast spells. Well, anyone can cast spells, but they're known more for casting spells, and he'll be using books, and Vincent is named after a rat that was a therapy rat that helped kids who had trouble reading. They were able to read to him. Next, we're going to have P, a monster, and P is kind of a crabby little rat. So he's going to mainly be turning into crab-based monsters throughout the game. And our final rounding out our party is Honey Mouse. Honey Mouse is a mouse, and her brother Tupelo had a Jeep. Well, she's doing him one better. She's going to have a little robot that she's going to drive around in. So, Mr. S tells us to go north to a cave. But before we do that, we're going to talk to the townspeople, get some information, say our goodbyes, and get an item. So, Mr. S tells us to take care. And there's going to be 4 houses down here, and each of them belongs to one of our party members. Good luck, Linus. So there's our party. We're going to take off the hammer here. We're just going to sell that. It's a strength-based weapon. Strength-based weapons aren't very good, and I'll explain that in a little bit. But Linus starts with a strength-based weapon. If we had females, they would have agility-based weapons. A female, starting female would have a rapier, and a starting female mutant would have a bow. Something going on outside. Let's enter this house. This is Vincent's house. Vincent's going too? Well, okay, take this. We receive a cure potion. That has 4 uses. If we equip it on a character, we can use it in battle. Otherwise, we'll just be using it outside of battle to heal hit points. Here's our house. Remember, Linus, do not be selfish. You're responsible for your friends. Now, take a good rest. And she'll heal up our hit points. She won't heal up our abilities, though. I'll talk more about that when we get to an inn. Going to look for your father? Take care, Linus. And here, this is going to be to Honey Mouse's house. Honey Mouse, don't be late for dinner. Which is fitting because Tupella was also a cook. He has a cookbook. I'll link it in the video description. There's a cave up north. That's the one that Mr. S told us to go to. And here's P's house. P, my sweetie, make sure to behave yourself and be good. Well, he'll be good, alright. We'll be mainly trying to transform P into crab-based monsters to fit with his crabbiness. Which means that we're not going to have the best monsters all the time, but it's fitting, so. So Mr. S says he better come with us. He is our 5th party member. So, go through the cave of north to a town. If you press the select button, the characters will, the 5th party members will give you a little bit of clues. So, 5th party members will be temporary members. They're usually very overpowered compared to your characters at the time. So you can get a good baseline of how your characters are developing based on how they stack compared to a 5th party member. Now, characters build up through fighting. It's not like regular games, though, where there's experience. Characters get stat ups based on what they do in battle. So right now, Linus is using a strength-based weapon, so he has a chance to have strength go up. Vincent, a mutant, also gains abilities through fighting. So he's using a spell, so he has a chance for his mana stat to go up. Humans tend to have faster stat growths than mutants in everything except for defense. There's a bug that prevents humans from gaining defense when using a shield or a shield-type weapon. So they can't gain it. Gain defense. There's that same bug, though, also prevents mutants from gaining strength, so. But, otherwise, they get abilities based on what they do in battle. Use a strength weapon, you have a chance to gain strength. Use agility, you have a chance to gain agility. Use a mana-based weapon, you have a chance to gain mana. And for mutants, if they use a defense like a shield, they have a chance to have their defense go up, so. We just fought a humanoid enemy there. The good thing about humanoid enemies in this game, as opposed to the first game, Final Fantasy Legend, is that humanoid enemies can drop their equipment. So it's a good way to get some early gold. That Ashiguro dropped a longsword, so we're not going to use strength weapons, so we're going to sell that off. So get some extra money. So agility is basically king in this game. The reason why I'm not using strength weapons is because in order for a strength weapon to be effective, you need to raise both your strength and agility. Your base damage with a strength weapon will be based on your strength, but your ability to hit with that weapon will be based on your agility. So rather than build up both those stats, it's much easier to just build up your agility, and then when your agility is built up, just use an agility-based weapon. Now, strength-based weapons tend to have stronger attack multipliers than agility-based weapons, but they're not much higher that you won't see much of a difference. So here's our first kind of mini-boss. Give me that magi. He is a level 2 base monster. Now, you're more likely to gain stats the stronger the monsters are, because the calculation that determines whether you gain a stat factors in the enemy's level. So I could have one-shot at this guy with Mr. S, but I'm just going to use Mr. S to cure and heal my characters. That way, my other characters will get to use an ability and have a better chance to gain a stat growth. So, but, ooh, we took out, Honey Mouse took it out with a firearm. Firearms are a different type of weapon. They're not strength-based or agility-based. They kind of do fixed damage. So they're good for a little bit, but they kind of get outclassed toward the end of the game. But we'll be using them for mainly the beginning part of the game, and then for the late mid-game. But So, as you can see, every time I have a fight and I meet a new enemy, I'm going to put their stats up on the right. So, right now I'm looking at the skeleton right now. There's that O weapon and X fire. If there's an O in front of something, that means it is strong against that. If there's an X, it means there's weak against it. So right now, the skeleton is O weapon, which means that it's going to take basically half damage from weapons that hit it. However, it has X fire, which means it's weak against any flame type attack. So, if you hit it with flame, it'll take extra damage, so. Now, before we leave here, we want to make sure that Mr. S heals up all our characters, because Mr. S is going to leave us right away here. So, like I said, fifth party members are always temporary. They rotate in and out of your party, so. They're kind of a crutch to get you through some tough areas, but you're not going to be able to rely on them throughout the entire game, so. Once we leave the cave, Honey Mouse, I must stay and guard our town. Good luck. Thank you. I will come back with my father. Goodbye, Mr. S. And Mr. S left. If we try to go back to our hometown, he tells us to hang on. Giving up now won't do any good. So now we're on our own, but we have a town close by. Let's head to it. So we get into another random battle here. Now in this battle, the strongest enemy is the jaguar. So we want to take it out first. It has a pretty strong attack with tusk. Luckily, we have some pretty good attacks. Our mutant, Vincent, starts out with Blizzard. That's an ice spell which does mana times 5 on everybody, and it hits every enemy. The same thing with P's Flame. It's mana times 5, but hits everybody. So by having a if we started with a mutant female, the mutant female would also have Flame. But because we started with a mutant male, we have Blizzard and Flame with P. So we're covering 2 of the elementals. So there's also a lightning elemental and a poison elemental, but that won't come around till later. So we want to equip Honey Mouse here with a rapier. We're going to sell some of this equipment here that we got to build up enough more money to buy a second rapier. Robots gain stats by the equipment that they equip. So if they equip an agility weapon, they'll gain agility. If they equip a defensive piece of armor, they'll gain defense. If they equip strength-based, they'll gain strength. So we want to equip rapiers. When you equip a robot with an item, it cuts the durability in half. Assures monsters are attacking people outside. Now, when we look at some items here, whether they're, well, other armor doesn't count, but like other items like weapons and then curative items, it has a durability count. It's either ×4. You put that on a robot, it gets cut in half. But when a robot stays in an inn, that usage will be replenished. The same thing happens with the mutants' innate abilities and monsters' innate abilities. So there's a Q cleric named Key in the shrine to the west, and we were told that there's a shrine to the west. So when you go to the inn, it's only based on your hit points. So it's 1 hit point per 1 gold per hit point. Pillar of Sky is holding the celestial wall. Pillar of Sky is over the northern mountains. Ashura's men must be looking for the magi. Ashura made a base in North Valley. Hello, refreshments for only 10 gold? Want one? Sure, have a good time. So this is our pub. We have a little jukebox here. We can listen to all the music in the game. It's going to be important later on for one future world. We have to use the jukebox. But hey, look, we have Dad already. Nope. Dad, oops, mistake. Huh? Who are you? By the way, magi might be left in the relics of ancient gods. Do you happen to know where it is? Funny thing is, you can come back here later. Spoilers, you will get Dad. You will find Dad eventually later on. If you come back here after finding Dad, you'll still mistake that guy for your father. So, yeah, it's weird. So, Mr. S told us that the prism tells us how many magi is in the world. We use it there, we find out there's 6 more magi in this world. And here's a memo thing. Memo keeps track of all the clues that we get throughout the game. So if you are coming back after a long time, you can always just use your memos so you don't get lost. But now our big thing now is we're going to have to head over to the west to the shrine of Isis and apparently talk with Key there, the cleric. So we're just going to head over to the west. I talked a little bit how robots get stronger by equipping items. Humans and mutants gain stats by using different abilities in battle. Monsters get more powerful by eating the meat of other monsters, but we're not going to be eating a lot of meat with P because I'm trying to keep him as a crab monster for the most of the time. So right now he's a dragon. We won't be able to get to a crab monster until the next world, but so he'll be a dragon for a little bit here. But that's how monsters will gain power. So sometimes you'll see monsters, they'll say they'll drop a meat. You have the option to eat it or not. So, like I said, we'll be ignoring most of the eating meat for a while. So, but took out that guy. All right, now let's head on into this building here. Well, we have another battle here to take care of first. So, I want to take care of the jaguar first. So, mutants can also gain skills based on when they fight randomly, based on the stronger skills you get by fighting stronger monsters. So right now they come up with that innate blizzard skill, but they can learn other skills. They can also learn weaknesses, so they might get a weakness to fire, but they can also gain strength. So who the heck is Ashura? They might be strong against an element. As long as Ki is here, Ashura won't come in. I came here to have Ki heal me. Okay, let's head on up. There are many different worlds other than this. Next world is Ashura's world, and next to that is Giant's world. Ki has the power to heal. I'll heal you, okay, all done. Do you know anything about the Magi? What will you do with them? Be a god? No way! Linus's father is going after Magi. We're looking for him. That man with a hat on? Do you know where did he go? He dropped in, asked me about Magi, and left. Oh, okay, thanks. Wait. People say that there are Magi in the relics of the ancient gods. It's 4 to the east and 3 to the south from the big rock in the southern forest. Okay, well, we have our new destination, but before we head to that destination, let's check out Ashura's base up in the north. There's also another town there, so we're gonna head there. We don't have enough time to actually go into that relics of the ancient gods, so let's just do a little bit more exploring. So, gonna head into the town. And like most towns, this one's going to have an inn, a weapon shop, and an item shop. Ashura is willing to get the statue of gods and become the only god to rule the world. The Pillar of Sky leads to Ashura's world. So now that Ki has healed us of all our hit points, we can stay at this inn for free, but see our things ain't filled up. Vincent only has 8 charges of his blizzard. Honey Mouse doesn't have full 25 of her rapiers, but now we stayed at the inn. Those charges are charged, including P's charges as well. So that works for mutants, monsters, and robots. Ordinary people can't get into Ashura's base. So if a building has a sword on it, that means it is a weapon shop. The only weapon we want to buy here, we want to buy a submachine gun later. And if a building has like that little vase on it, that means it's an item shop. An item shop sell items and items, spell books, and armor. So that lady said they can't get to the Pillar of the Sky because of Ashura's base. Now the Pillar of the Sky links all the worlds, and it also blocks you from going into other worlds based on your magi count. So if you try to enter the Pillar of the Sky and you don't have enough magi to get to the next world, it'll say like you need more magi. So that's the game's way of kind of gatekeeping you, preventing you from like going right to the end of the game right away. It forces you to, you know, explore the world that you're in to gather all the magi, so. But hey, here's Ashura's base. We can't enter. That's weird. Even though we're the heroes, we're not allowed to enter the base? Oh well. Well, I guess that means that we're forced to go into the relics of the ancient gods, and we'll do that in our next episode. Take care, have a good day. Bye!